So welcome everyone. Thank you so much for joining today's session, our first online podcast, and we're really excited for sharing this wisdom with you in a different way. We've had a great journey so far. Most of you have joined our sessions, have unlocked, and some of the other aspects as well. So yeah, thank you all for being there and giving us support. I know some of you have been joining the circles as well. And last week we had a really good session with Keshav Swami in person. So that was really nice, and well done to you guys who made it. I do apologize for the connection last week. It was a little bit temperamental, I could say. So it cut off quite a bit. But we do have a recording and we're just processing that and uploading it. So worry not, we will put that on. And hopefully we can connect like that. So yeah, we're going to start in a second. I'm going to introduce our guest, and what I wanted to do is just check in with everyone as well. So maybe let's just check in with how everybody's feeling right now. So yeah, maybe you can just put one word on the chat and how you're feeling. I think the chat should be open. So yeah, just put a word, one word, how you're feeling right now. How's your day been? Okay, great. Everyone's feeling great. That's positive. It's good. Yeah, good. Okay, so a lot of nice comments coming. Excited. Okay, thank you for sharing. Okay, so someone's feeling frustrated. Good. I like the honesty present. Okay, I think I'll have to open it up to everyone. Participants can chat with chat meeting group. Okay, so now you should be able to post to everyone. Good. Okay, so everyone's feeling great, so that's good. I'm really happy. Curious. Yeah, that's really good. So we'll begin in a second. And well done to those of you guys who are joining circles, because I see some of you from the circles actually joining as well. And that's going really well too. So yeah, the aim of the podcast, the aim of these sessions are to basically connect with the Bhagavad-gita, but in a different way. We're going to bring different topics to you, topics that relate to modern life, to spirituality. So today is about Bhagavad-gita and yoga. Last week we did about Bhagavad-gita and ambition. We have things lined up for you around the Bhagavad-gita and business, the Bhagavad-gita and environment, the Bhagavad-gita and purpose, the Bhagavad-gita and mind, the Bhagavad-gita and mystic powers. So yeah, all these different things that we've got lined up for you. So yeah, let's begin this session. And as we're starting the session, I just wanted to I'm going to introduce our guest, but before we do that, we're just going to do a quick gratitude prayer, as we do in our sessions. So some of you might know this prayer by now, but if you do, you can join in. If not, you can just listen and maybe just feel the gratitude, anything you're grateful for. So we connect with that. So I'll begin the gratitude prayer, and we can start the session through that. ज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकाय चक्षुरुन्मिलितं तस्मै श्रीगुरुवे नमः। नमो विष्णुपदाय कृष्णापृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदांत स्वामिनिति नामिने। नमस्ते सरस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पश्चाता देशतारिणे। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासदि गौर भक्तवृंद। Okay, so Yeah, let's get started. So these podcasts, we also want the theme around the Bhagavad-gita. And one of the things that all of us are probably going through right now in the circles and studying, and maybe if you open up the Bhagavad-gita, the first thing we hear about is doubt. We hear about Duryodhana's doubt, Arjuna's doubt. We hear about Dhritarashtra and Duryodhana. We hear about how Arjuna's going through an existential crisis, and he has a moment where he basically, struggles to know what to do. So there is a bit of a theme around that as well. So we'll have a bit of a discussion on this too. So let's bring in our guest. So our guest is Janhavi, all the way from Italy, who's come to London now. And she's a yoga teacher trainer. She does a lot of great work teaching the yoga philosophy. She has a lot of students. She spends a lot of time taking people to India, doing a lot of trips, and very prominent in Florence and Tuscany and around the yoga circles. And she's been a bhakti yoga practitioner for some time. So welcome, Janhavi. Thank you for joining us today, and really grateful for you to join us. I'm sure everybody else is. And yeah, so Janhavi, one question I like asking people when I first meet them, especially in spirituality, is how did your spiritual journey begin? Where did it start? Tell us your story. Tell us your inner Arjuna moment. Tell us your time when you had that doubt and then you connected to spirituality.
Welcome. Thank you so much for allowing me to be part of this. I'm very happy to be with all of you. And so my journey is very interesting, and it starts from when my mother was pregnant of my elder brother. And when she was pregnant, she read the whole Bhagavad-gita as it is. And then when my brother grew up, and I was very young, I think I was around 8 or 9 years old, he came to me and he told me, if you chant this Maha Mantra, you can do whatever you like. And I said, really? Can I learn to ride a bicycle if I chant this mantra? He said, anything you want. And then I was like, okay. I was like, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare. And I just kept chanting this Maha Mantra. So there is this very important episode. And then what happens is that, I lived in India because I'm half Indian, half Italian. So then I went to Italy and I had such a horrible, horrible life. It was, my father died and I had so much racism in Italy. People were not accepting me. I felt super lonely. And, there were so many things happening. And I was really taking this street, the journey of drugs and bad association. And it really went bad, really, really, really low. Then one day, I was 18-year-old and I am with my friends sitting on the streets, and suddenly I hear the Maha Mantra. And I'm like, where is it? Where is it coming from? And then they are there. And it was some devotees that were doing Harinam. They were singing on the streets. And I ran over, and I was so excited. My eyes were sparkling because I felt like I recognized something. Anyways, they go. And we were completely drunk. And I meet some people from England. And we are all drunk, and I'm saying, oh, tomorrow I'm going to London. And this woman is saying, you are going to London? And where are you going? I said, I still don't know. I just go there and see what happens. And they said, no, don't do that. London is dangerous. You're so young. She literally gave me the keys of her house. and she'd never met me before. Okay, so I get the keys, I go to London, and I'm in King's Cross, and guess what? Next to her house, there is a Hare Krishna place, the temple. It's not like a temple, it's like a preaching center. So my mom, she knew like I was, like very flexible to devastation. So she said, let me protect my girl. And she said, if you end up with no money, just go to this place, they will feed you. If you need internet, they will help you. So I was going there every single day to use internet to find a job and all that. And I was doing Food for Life. And then what happened is that I discovered that under there, they were doing meditation. And which meditation? They were doing the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra meditation. And I was like, oh my God, I know this mantra. And then I went there. These people, they believe in God. That's so crazy. How can people like still believe in God? Didn't they study history? Didn't they study philosophy? Why are these people so weak that they need, God to believe in? And then I was like, you know what? I am going to defeat these people and show them the truth. That was so much pride in my heart, even if I was just 18-years old. And I was like, okay, I'm going to defeat these people. So I was entering into philosophical debates all the time. And guess who won? The devotees, they had such a profound knowledge and depth in philosophy. It was fascinating. And then they said, go to the other temple also. And then I went to Soho Temple, and it was incredible. In that time of my life, I was having a lot of issues. In that time, I was very much having issues with food, really having issues with food. And then I was, whenever I would see food, I would be like, I hate you, I'm more stronger than you and all that. But when I went into this temple, it was very interesting because they started giving me this place. I wasn't rejecting it. I was even thinking, wow, this is so beautiful. This is so incredible. And I remember I ate the whole plate, which was extraordinary for me. And after that, they said oh, come, it's time to dance. And I was like, you guys dance, that's incredible. So I started dancing. And while dancing, I was feeling the same effects I would get while being under drugs. And then I thought, okay, there is something here. There is really something. And the whole next days, I was singing by myself, and I was just waiting to go back to this, beautiful spiritual environment. And that's how my journey started. And this is how my Bhakti Yoga process started. But that is what actually led me to yoga. And also here, yoga, my mother was practicing yoga since I was in the belly. We would be practicing in India together. I would be reading the books of Vivekananda, and I was going to his school as well. So I was doing yoga since I was a child. And then when I actually came to a spiritual path, I thought, actually, yoga is such a beautiful process to bring this spirituality to people. And that's how I also started my journey in Rishikesh. I got a yoga teacher training course, and then I kept on studying Vaishnava theology course, which made my thesis on yoga, and then went to Dallas to learn yoga, and then it just went on and on and on. So that's how my journey of bhakti and yoga started.
Wow, that's such an incredible story. That's yeah, it's just amazing how, the kind of story starts from your childhood, right? To that point where, your brother is kind of saying to you, you should believe in spirituality. There's actually something there. And then you kind of you go to London, the lady just gives you the keys, and you happen, it's almost like fate, it's almost like you are supposed to connect to spirituality. and it seems like you were kind of in that mindset where you were kind of a little bit atheistic, and you were kind of a bit adverse to spirituality. But then you said like you had the same highs as you did when you were like taking drugs. And maybe I can ask you this question. So sometimes we kind of disregard a process, or we disregard spirituality. Maybe there's a lot of people out there that feel, this spirituality works to a certain extent. What was the thing that gave you that inner belief that, okay, this is something that helps me on the inside rather than just on the outside? Because a lot of the times we are looking for that sense gratification, but actually spirituality sometimes gives you that inner fulfillment, like deep within. So what was that thing that you felt like, okay, actually I'm feeling something more? So that was my first question. And my second question is, after you connected with Bhakti Yoga, what made you connect to, you said you did Rishikesh and you did the whole teacher training, and you may have moved more onto like a physical yoga as well. So what made you make that connection as well? Maybe you could share some light.
Yes. So the thing with, before coming to spirituality, I was suffering from huge, intense depression. I was so suicidal. I was thinking of how to commit suicide every single day of my life. And, I had cuts everywhere, and I was really, in a bad shape. And also, like, I was suffering from very, very intense insomnia, and I could never sleep. And I was so unhealthy, and my body was just like, dropping down. I would faint so many times, and pain all over my body. It was like devastation. And I was 18 years old. I was coughing all the time. When I came to this spiritual environment, what happened is that I started sleeping. Like at 9 o'clock in the evening, I would drop dead on my bed. And at 3 o'clock in the morning, I would be awake and doing, like all kind of beautiful spiritual things, and dancing and singing and being with amazing people. Every day looked like a feast. Everything was enthusiastic, and being with such positive people. Like it never happened to me to be around such beautiful, amazing, positive people. And not only that, but people really took care of me. They loved me. They were with me. So first of all, insomnia just disappeared. And the other thing is, like, I never fainted anymore. And also, like, my lungs, like, I just stopped coughing, And when I came back, my friends, they saw me, and, like, my previous name was Diana. So one of my friends is like, Diana? And I turn, and he's like, oh my God, that's you? He said, I never saw you smiling before. This is the first time I see you with a huge smile. You look effulgent. You look beautiful. What happened to you? And I was like, oh my God, you will never guess. He knew me. I was always like so serious, so sad, and so much anger inside. And suddenly they see this smiling, gentle, and shining person, and they were so curious. They said, what did you do to yourself? We want to try the same thing. So many of my friends came to the center in Italy to see what was this miraculous transformation that happened. So many people came. And for me, like when you have so much such an effect of something, you are enthusiastic, like something just literally saved your life. And then you see other people like that are devastated, they are angry, they are sad, they are addicted, they have so many addiction, they have so many emotional, mental issues. And I was thinking, like, just try what I did. please just try what I did. It's amazing. It really works. And I thought, what could be a really good way to help these people? And because I had so many issues with my body, with my emotions, I really thought yoga could be such a great instrument, because through yoga, you work on the physical part, but you start touching the settled level, the wisdom level, and slowly, you really reconnect with your deeper self. So I started diving deep into the practice. And the way I teach yoga is very different from normal classes, very different. Well, like whenever I go in any part of the world, people have a class with me and they say, I never had a yoga class like this. This is like really different, because I definitely don't stay at the physical level. I use the body to bring the people to a different dimension. So we always start with a theme. We always start with a mantra, and the mantra is normally Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. You know, it's just like this prayer to gain this positive energy to the practice. And then this theme I developed through the poses, the physical poses, through the breath, through the visualizations, through the mind. And we go through the poses into this exploration of the theme. So it becomes like a very therapeutic process where people are, I don't know, like a theme can be like how to overcome anger, or finding inner happiness, how to find shelter in your heart, or things like that. And then you dive into the poses. You are using the poses as a symbolic effect to have a deeper transformation. And in the end, we always have, you know, the final meditation with a beautiful up with the mantra, with the harmonium. And people are just crying with tears, you know, people just melt. So you can really see the transformation, because people have different steps they can take into spirituality. And it's very important to have patience for that and respect that. So it's really nice to help people step by step, to lead them into this inner awareness and to bring them closer and closer to them. So I really felt yoga was amazing. And the interesting thing is that the more I was doing the whole practice, is that I started gaining so much understanding about the energetic system of people. I could just like see people and I could understand exactly what was there, what was the problem. I could say like, okay, there is a communication issue. There is a problem with the mind. There's a problem with relationship and with the heart, with sadness. There is a problem with not letting go things. There's a problem with, you know, too much pride or sense of control. All these things, I could just see the person and was like, I know what is happening. So yoga really gave me that depth of understanding, to look at the person and understand immediately what is going on. And through that, people really started trusting me. Okay, she knows actually what she's saying, because and I can describe your whole personality. And the person is like, how do you do that? You know, and I'm like, this is just energy, you know, like you can see this knowledge also in the Bhagavad-gita as well. But you like, after I got into yoga and I started reading the Bhagavad-gita again, I was like, this is incredible. You actually have this knowledge inside, but people don't understand it. They can't, like, you know, take this knowledge out and really apply it in that way. So through yoga, I was able to apply the principles that I was learning in Bhagavad-gita and help that purification process, where you could slowly overcome your issues, your blockages, your limitations, and take out that empowerment and potential. So that's how yoga really helped. It was amazing. And I still teach and I still love doing that. And I'm starting to train people to teach in that way, because the transformation is incredible, like really incredible. So I really thought it's my mission to bring this type of teaching way to people so that more people can be transformed.
Yeah, that's really juicy. Like there's so much there, and yeah, like energies, auras, people's energies. We kind of, as basically what you were saying was that the more spiritual you became, or the more you connected with yoga, you could start seeing people's energies. You could start feeling their aura, their presence, to the point where you could see somebody's personality or what was wrong with them. Or um, actually, we had a reading done before. I remember we were in India. We actually first met there, and I was actually amazed. You know, you were so accurate with what you were portraying, which is fascinating to me. You know, like the fact that there is not only the physical, what we see, and we learn this from the Bhagavad-gita, how there's the physical body, but there's also the subtle body, and we all also carry an aura, and there's the mind, intelligence, the ego. So maybe you could share with us, like, maybe something that people can also take away practically. How can we change our aura, or how can we cleanse our energy? So okay, so two questions. One, how do we cleanse our energy? How do we also protect ourselves against negative energy? Because I know there's a theme, it's very popular right now, energy vampires. There's a theme of people that suck your energy, or you spend too much time with them. And also at the same time, if we look at the Bhagavad Gita, like especially in chapter 1, there's two characters, Dhritarashtra and Duryodhana. Actually, I was listening to a class about it just yesterday with Radhanath Swami. He was talking about these two characters, and their energy was very much selfish and based on selfish gain, selfish desire, and more on the external enjoyment. So how can practically some of us internalize something that feels good and live a life that's good on the inside? Maybe that's like a deeper question as well to ask you.
Okay. Yeah, it's a large topic, but I will squeeze it in somehow or other. So first of all, listen carefully, because this is really interesting. It took me years to figure this out, and I made so much research, and I really like, because I was a therapist and I was helping people to heal. They would come to me with any problem they had, and as soon as I would check their chakras and energy center, I would gain exactly what they had. And I was so sensitive to energy that I could go into a place, and the energy of the place, I would grab it on me. I would see someone, even if it was not a therapy session, and I would get that energy. And I was like, how did I become so sensitive? Yeah. And here, learn the secret, because it took me many years. I tried everything, like, and the stones and this and that, and work. Okay. So I'm going to tell you what worked for me, which is still amazing. And I now, like, I can do like any session in a day, and nothing really like touches me and like places nothing. I'm like speeding so strong. So first of all, what I do, there are a few things to look into. Okay. The first thing I do in a session, do you know, like, there is a prayer just in the beginning of the Bhagavad-gita. Actually, like, you even sang it, like, oh my Gyana Timirandasya, the whole thing. So I chant that whole part first, because I want to connect with the spiritual, powerful teachers. Okay, I want to connect with divine energy. That is the first thing. We are not the doers. When our ego is in the center, it's crazy bad. Okay, we have to let go of that ego, and we are like channeling the energy. That's the first thing. So doing this prayer really helps me to connect with divine energy and with saints, so I'm protected. So that's the first thing. The other thing is that I was living in a very, 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 very toxic relationship, which was draining my energy day after day, day after day, day after day. So when it came to a point where I was fully I was losing my strength and I was weak. People would just affect me immediately. So I started, actually, I had the mercy that my husband broke up with me. That was the fantastic moment in my life where everything started, like I started gaining strength again. What am I saying with this is that sometimes we are engaged in a toxic relationship or situation that is draining our vital force away. It is creating holes in our energy system. It can be a relationship of partnership, mother, father, work. It can be something that happened in the past, traumas, abuses, memories that we never faced. And those are there. And you know, like a rotten apple that you put on the floor, it starts creating a hole. It's the same thing. So it's creating a hole inside our energy system. And when we are holding all those things, these holes, you know, when you put like water, what happens? Everything goes away. So that's what is happening. We are doing healing, we are doing this, we are doing that, but nothing is staying. Everything is just going away. So we close these holes. Okay? So that's the thing. We need to learn to close these holes. And the thing is, like, how do I explain that in a few minutes? I don't think that is possible. But maybe we can have a session about that or something. I really can't. I mean, we could maybe just do a meditation over that and close all the holes of the chakras. What about that? You know? And then what happens is that when the holes are closed, the energy is not affecting anymore. Okay, so this is on the energetic point of view. But then there is one very, very, very important thing is that the spiritual practice. We have to have spiritual practice. Like the material energy is draining, like it's so powerfully draining us. We need to counteract it with something else which is as powerful as material force. How can we think we can be fully energized if we are only in the material platform? It's not possible. You know, like energy is just sucking away and we feel more and more lifeless. We feel more and more discouraged. We feel more and more unbalanced. And then life keeps going on. And you know what? The chakra system says that when there is an unbalance, there is a physical manifestation of it. Any physical issue we have in one of these energy centers. So if we want to heal from something, we have to fix that. We have to. It's important. So we need a practice. We need a practice that day by day we keep doing and we take shelter of this divine force. Because when we are connected, it's just this, like, you know, Bhagavad-gita says it's like the fire, and the sparkle of fire goes away and it's losing its, you know, fiery nature. But when it reconnects again, it becomes like fire. So if we want to find our potential, we have to reconnect to this divine force. And that has been the most important thing in my life, that most of the knowledge that I have is actually not even coming from scriptures or writings or readings, but it's coming from download of information that I get because of this connection with this, you know, divine force. And then I just get the knowledge and I experiment it. And people are like, amazing, it really works. You know, you can really like see the change. So that's what I do in order to help myself. But I also do something else, which is actually the quickest and easiest way. It's for the lazy people or people who don't have time. And in order to do that, I use some very, very special type of essential oils that work on time. It balances it in 5 seconds. And I normally show it to people with like a kinesiology test, which is like a muscle test. And I show to people how is their physical strength before putting that drop and after putting the drop, what happens to them. So they're like amazed. Oh my God, one drop and the chakra is balanced. They are more strong in their body. So what happens is that when we use these oils, there are oils that are specifically meant for protection. Sometimes you were talking about some kind of like gentle protection, but there are some things that are really tough, like entities or demons or like very dark energies. Like, how do we protect ourselves from that? It's very, very intense. So there are some kind of like oils that are really meant for that. And there are some kind of like exercises that you do that are really meant for that. And even in the Bhakti tradition, we have prayers, with the half man, half lion incarnation, Narasimhadev, like you can chant for protection. But that is not enough in itself. You need to do a visualization also to bring that into like reality and to like take away, this like bad energies. So there are many things. I hope I somehow or other answered your request or question.
Yeah, I think that's like another session, and I'm sure people are fascinated about some of the things you mentioned about demonic energies, negative energies. There is so much things that you touched on. Okay, you mentioned the oils. You even mentioned different things that we can do to try and cleanse that energy. And even I know, like, for example, when Keshav Swami was mentioning, he was talking about, he used to go out on as a monk, he would go out and give books to people. And when you're in that environment, you're actually absorbing a lot of energy. And he was saying that how every time he would visit different places, there's different energies that you could end up picking up. So I asked him, like, how do you cleanse yourself from that energy? How do you what did you do when you used to come back? And he was sharing how he was sharing how, like, one of the practice was having a cold shower, like coming back and having a cold shower, cleansing that energy, and then just meditating for like half an hour or whatever it is, to kind of purify the things that you're taking in. Because also in the same respect, sometimes we can't choose who we are with, right? We have family members, we're all constantly engaging with different things. And these practices can help us, like oils, cold showers, mantras, prayers, all these things. Now, as a say, for example, a beginner, imagine a lot of people on this call might be beginners on this. What kind of things, maybe if you could just share maybe a couple of points on what kind of things can people do to protect themselves, maybe from, like a simple thing, let's say, like, to take away from today, what would you recommend somebody can do to just protect themselves from different energies, but also live a more internal life? Because it sounds like, from what you're saying, that you're picking up the external energies, but it's actually an internal practice and an internal consciousness that you have to focus on that connects with the outside. So how do you make that happen? What kind of takeaways would you give to people from this session that they can do practically at home?
First of all, it's important to understand that if we are taking bad energies, there is a reason for that. It's not just casual, okay? Nothing is really casual in this life. So first of all, if we are getting that energy, could be for two main reasons. One is because we have holes in our chakras, or it can be because we have unbalances in our energy systems, especially the seventh chakra. This is the one that is good, then it's fine. But this is really like the dangerous one. And the other one is because we need to learn something. Like there is some kind of like the universe wants to make us strong and powerful. So he's putting us into like hardships and squeezing us out our nectar from the heart, because we are going through such hardship with all this negativity. Because, after some time that you practice, all these issues like anger, suffering, and sadness or communication, all these things are easy to overcome. Okay, it comes like, okay, it's fine. What next? What is the next test? And that's when like deeper things happen at such an energetic point that you can't even like, figure it out. How do you do that? So that's when I really realized that a spiritual practice is really important. And remember, this is the seventh chakra, okay? So this is the energy center which is connected with what? With spirituality, with divine force, with the creator. So this powerful energy, like with every energy centers, there is a sound vibration that is connected with that. Really interesting about this, because when we talk about vibration, it's like, look at a cell, okay? Now we are looking at a cell, and inside we have the nucleus, we have atoms. And within the atoms, we have the nucleus, and we have the positive energy and negative energy that are turning around this nucleus, okay? And if they spin too fast or too slow, they will create a type of oscillation. Just stick with me. They will create an oscillation. And this frequency will create a type of dynamic where I act in a certain way. This is coming from, I don't know, like my father is angry at me, he's controlling me all the time. And that vibration is entering into my cells. And so they start rolling faster or too slow according to how we react. And this is emanating outside another type of unbalance. So life is constantly pressuring us with type of energies, and we are reflecting out another type of unbalance. Okay? Now see what happens. We want to go to that little cell and say, hey, can you please turn gentle and nice and balanced? Can you stop spinning around? Or, hey, can you hurry up a little bit? You're too slow. We have to go and say that to the cell, right? How do we do that? And tell the cell, please be balanced. How do we do that? Through sound vibration. Why? Because vibration is the same type of frequency that is emanating from the turning of the cell. It's creating vibration and vibration, vibration, vibration. So it's with vibration that we can heal the energy that is inside. Sorry, they are locking us inside. Yes, please don't lock us in Spanish. No. So this chakra here, it doesn't have a mantra actually. It's the only chakra that doesn't have a mantra. Actually, there are two, but I will not speak to you about the other one. So in scriptures, you learn that the Maha mantra is Maha, which means the great, because within this mantra, you have all the mantras. I said, okay, it's only the scripture saying, let's see if it's true. Let me analyze it. I don't like to just believe what I read. I like to test it. So I'm like, okay, let me try. So I put my hands over here. Maybe you can also try. You can put your hands over here and then close the eyes. And we want to visualize white color energy flowing inside the top of the head. Waterfall. We want like a white waterfall of energy flowing inside us. And we will do this through the Maha mantra. So if you know it, chant it with me. Otherwise, just feel the mantra entering inside with white color. We will do it 3 times. And while doing that, let's bring in positivity and strength, inner strength. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare Rama. Eyes closed and breathe deeply. And by keeping the eyes closed, just release your hands, your arms, and notice this white energy opening like a sphere of energy all around your body, like a protective shield. And inside this protective shield, you feel strong and safe. You feel guided, nourished. And let this whitish waterfall flow through the whole body, nourishing every single cell in the body, strengthening it, empowering it. And let's feel the deep breath, allowing the energy flow to make us stronger and stronger. And in this moment of openness, we can always enter into a prayer. Name we want to give to the divine and ask, please protect me. Please make me strong. Let the energies that are coming from outside make me stronger. Teach me how to change that energy into wisdom, into inner transformation. And now slowly inhale deeply. And we can close the palms in front of the heart. And slowly we can open our eyes. And thank you for doing the meditation with me. Thank you. I didn't expect to lead to guided meditation, but it just came like that.
That was amazing, and yeah, I can really feel really calm, really feel the good presence. And maybe people can write on the chat how you're feeling. How is that? How was the meditation for you? I've just opened up the chat, and yeah, maybe people can, if you have any questions, if anyone has something they would like to ask. And yeah, so just opened up the chat. So you can send in your questions, or you can raise your hands and maybe unmute and ask. So we just wait.
Just one thing, someone wrote how they could connect with me.
Yes, that's yeah.
So you can connect with me, maybe Instagram, because I opened recently an English Instagram because people are asking in English also, and normally I have everything in Italian. But I'm starting, actually in my Instagram page, I'm starting to give some knowledge about the chakras and some poses. So if you want to follow, that could be useful. Maybe I should write it on the chat so that you get the name, if I can do that.
Yeah, that would be good.
So it's the Siddha Yogini. Okay, so I wrote that down, so you can contact me through that if you something. And yes, if you have some questions, please.
Yeah, please share anything that stood out for you. Any questions? I think a lot of people might want to also go deeper next time about the chakras and the relation to the Bhagavad-gita. Also, you mentioned about doing this daily, like a practice. So we can do some of that. What are some of the proactive oils that can be used in associated with the mantras? So maybe we're going to talk a bit about which oils can they get, and which ones connect to the mantras.
Can you please repeat it? I didn't understand. What are some of the protective oils that can be used and the associated mantras?
Yeah.
Okay. So first of all, the oils that I use that work on chakras, because of course, as every product, there are many, many things. And I can guarantee you that it's very, very, very rare to find oils that are able to work up such a powerful subtle level. Okay, I can test energies of products, of food, of people, anything, But once you know energy, you can know all these things. So the oils that I'm talking about, I will write them down. These is the oils that I use. Okay, these are from doTERRA and very, very pure and very powerful oils. And so within these oils, there is one, I will write that one also. It's called very good for protection. There's another one that is called On Guard. It's like a protection on guard, It's very good also for immune system and helping. And there is another one. This is more like for entities and bad energies, and it's called lemongrass. Lemongrass. And it's funny because lemongrass is the oil that keeps away the flies. How is it? Mosquitoes. Yeah, the mosquitoes away. And the mosquitoes are sucking your blood, right? And in the same way, the lemongrass is taking away the people that are sucking your vital energy away. So also the other one, the tea tree. The tea tree is also antiviral. So it's also on the symbolical level, people who are like kind of like viral kind of people, toxic people, then it can help to keep that away. And also regarding oils, like I'm actually a wellness consultant of these oils. And if you want to follow a process with me, like a healing process with me with the oils, you can definitely connect with me. I'm super happy and eager to do that. I have seen people changing their lives with these oils, not only on the physical and mental level, but on so many different layers. With oils, I can do amazing, amazing things. So whenever people come into with me and, like you are in my team, then and you can heal yourself, you can find your center and all that. And, like I have 2 kids, like 2 small kids. And you know how kids can be, sometimes it's like, all that. And I put a drop in all the 7 chakras and they become angels in less than 3 minutes. It's like amazing. Like it's incredible because it's really actually a lot about chakras and energies, and you can fix that. And it works really, really quick and fast. So please contact me also for that if needed. Any other question? Oh, she asked me about mantras also, right? Yeah. Mantras. The mantras that I use for the chakras are called bija mantras. Okay, I will write them down. Bija mantras. Oh, by the way, I am almost finished writing an ebook about chakras with all this information. If you want, it will be soon available. So I'm just finishing the manual about meditation because I have a yoga teacher training course very soon about meditation. And then I will be finishing the ebook also on the chakras. So it will be available.
Yeah, I think definitely, Janhavi, we can definitely bring you back as well. So I think a lot of questions are coming up about the chakras, how we connect with them. I know you're in the UK now to the 13th of September. So maybe people, if they want a consultation with you, they can also get in touch. Maybe I think I might get some oils off you. I have two nephews and they're really energetic and they just jump around all the time. So if you're saying that in 3 minutes that they just calm down, I'll take it. I'm sure any parent would with enthusiastic children.
Sure.
Okay, so yeah, so one question from Kajal has come up. Maybe we just take one or two more questions. At the start, you mentioned about, and I know maybe this is something quite advanced, but how do you, when you connect to spirituality and you look deep, people recognize what's going on inside them. Can you talk more about that? Like, how do you get to that level of awareness? And then, I mean, I know I can say like, maybe I'm not as into that, but definitely there's that sensitivity that you develop, the energy sensitivity doing spiritual practice, you kind of really feel auras and energies. So yeah, maybe do you want to share a bit about that? How does that work?
Yeah. First of all, I really think that these are things that we already have in previous lives, and through the spiritual practice, it just develops. We have a nature and it just comes out.
It's just frozen there, John.
Yeah. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, we can hear it. Just froze. Yeah, go ahead.
So what is interesting is that I can actually teach these techniques to people quite easily, because once you learn it, you can actually help people to learn also. And I have so many of my students, they can definitely do it really well. And even like up to a point where I'm like, hey, can you please do this for me? Like, oh, I'm feeling this. Can you check what is there? And they can even do it. It's amazing. Like, I kind of like created a team of support, and we like help each other with this. It's really, really nice. And so many people can use this process of learning to check chakras and all that. But in order to reach that sensitivity, maybe you say, I think what the great mercy in my life was that I had to go through intense pain in my life. I had to go through such hardships that by overcoming it, I became so strong. I became so conscious. I became so focused. There are some verses in the Bhagavad-gita that they are saying, if you surrender to me, I will give you anything that you need, anything that is lacking in your life, I will just give it to you. And when I would read those kind of sentences in the Gita, I would go for it. I would just like immerse myself in that. And because of so much dedication, I really felt the divine was leading my path to that internal understanding of what was happening. And also, I was always looking for someone to heal me. Please help me. I'm so devastated. I need help. I felt like I was screaming to the universe, like, please send me someone to heal me. I never found someone. And then I thought, you know what? I will become that healer. I will become that healer that is able to look at you and see what is going on and bring that transformation. And that's how my eagerness into getting into this really started. And yeah, it's just like a whole download of information and the spiritual path and be guided and all that. It just started happening. Yeah.
Yeah, that's
But
amazing.
it's teachable. It's teachable. It's actually teachable.
Beautiful, yeah. Yeah, that's amazing, Janwa. And a lot of us are, the beginners in this process, and sort of we can kind of connect to that spiritual journey, that path, and become a bit more in tune, with these things like you're mentioning, and the verses of Gita that you mentioned is, it's very beautiful verse, and I love how you shared that. So yeah, hopefully we can connect with you more, Janva. It's been an amazing session, and lots of positive feedback has been coming through. And hopefully all of us can also continue our spiritual journey by taking on some of these practices. And yeah, you can see from Janva's experience how she went from a life of addiction, not believing things, and a difficulty to actually developing further and processing further into her connection, her physical spirituality through yoga, etc. But then it went through subtle auras. And then she's just mentioned about her connection with the divine, and how that's kind of really made her kind of use her skills into helping others. Sort of, we hear from the Bhagavad-gita that actually life is about service, and we're actually there to find our superpower in serving others. So when we connect to spirituality, and it could be just waking up early in the morning and chanting or meditating, or having your own routine that helps you connect to the divine, or maybe even trying some of Janva's routines, we can then become in tune and become more connected. And then from that, we can use our skills and talents. And like she mentioned in that last verse, it says the divine preserves what we have and carries what we lack. So it's just like someone that you love, someone that loves you is going to carry you when you're in a difficult time. They kind of really step in and they carry you in the same way the divine continues and carries you in that way. So thank you so much, Janva. It's been amazing. I've seen you've shared your email address. What we'll also do is share that out as a message to everyone. So don't worry if you haven't got it. We will share Janva's connection, and hopefully she can also come back to join us. And next week we'll be back with another session, another guest, another podcast. I apologize for the connection. It was a bit choppy sometimes, and we lost Janva, but hopefully we didn't lose any essence of the message that we were getting. As it's our first or second session, we'd love for you to give us feedback. Is it resonating? Are you liking the topics? What kind of guests would you like to have on? What topics do you want us to discuss? So we would love to have the feedback. We love to improve, and we love for you guys to also stay connected. So thank you so much. It's been amazing that you guys spent your evening with us, and we can see you around. Thank you.